So the party, at the last adventure, they eventually gained the cure to the fungal plague, and they headed back to Clarion, where they administered the cure and started to save single-handedly started to save the whole of the village. While they were there, while they were there, Julius was called to the cage that contained, if you remember, and you are a follower of the campaign, the young lad, the teenager that was brought in from the caravan that was wrecked, and everybody was destroyed on the caravan, including Bazooka's ex-friend, because she's no longer alive, Bazooka, but you have a new friend now called Bruce, and he sort of like was the only person left. They went to the cage and they suddenly realized that the guards, there was something quite wrong with the guards, and one guard transformed into what can only be called a werewolf and attacked Julius, I think.
Yeah,
I think that was right. Rurik stepped forward and evoked burning hands and set fire to a local building, the cage, and the werewolf quite effectively. There was a smell of singeing, burning fur for quite a while. And then, because the cage was on fire, Alval bravely stepped forward to release the teenage lad and got him out just in time before he was burned to death, who then promptly turned into a wolf. Somebody got enlarged, I think. Ereval got enlarged, and the cage got enlarged, and then they actually followed. The werewolf was very threatening to you, Julius. Very threatening.
Yeah. He said bad words.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what you actually think about that at the present moment in time and how it fits into story or not, but we'll come to that in a minute. And then Ereval and Tenariel tracked the werewolf through the forest and eventually came to a barrow, as in an undead mound, where there seemed to be some kind of meeting. The others ransacked the village for sources of silver to make weapons, because they found out that although the recently transformed werewolves you could kill them without silver, the big werewolf actually did require some kind of silver weapon. So Tenariel and Ereval came back to the village of Clarion, and I'm going to pick it up there and tell you what's happened over the last few days. So generally, guys, throughout the time, Ereval and Tenariel, you decided that it probably wasn't a good idea to leave this barrow sort of like unattended. So you have been making regular treks out there and keeping an eye on what's actually been happening. You notice that this conclave, this meeting, lasted what appeared to be 3 days, well, almost 3 days, because on the third day when you returned, you noticed that the two werewolves that were stood at the front, if you remember, were guarding just inside the tunnel, were no longer there. The rest of you searched the town for silver, and unfortunately there was no more to be found, not even from the mayor, after Julius tried to persuade him quite effectively. There was, of course, the constable was keen to give you various silver that he possessed, but the town became somewhat, well, the leaders of the town became somewhat concerned that even though they had rid Clarion of the fungal plague, because things are slowly getting better, it would appear that the village now has another issue at hand, which could be a possible attack by werewolves. The village is completely unprepared for this due to the lack of silver weapons, and there is various talk going round this town at the present moment in time, including leaving the town altogether and taking the whole village off to Thorndyke, which is the nearest town. However, due to your prestige, due to your power and your action that you have helped the town over the last few days, they have decided to invite you. It's a bit like Miss Marple. I would never go with Miss Marple if she was going anywhere, or Lewis, because, you know, if you go with them, there's bound to be a murder, you know, and I think that's the same sort of like thing at the moment. Okay, so they've invited you guys to a town meeting in the tavern, where you are quite familiar and quite used to sort of like camping out. I'm just deleting your characters off that, and I'm going to bring them in so you can decide exactly where you would like to sit. The town meeting, they've cleared the bar, the tavern, of everybody else, and the only person who's in there is the barkeeper. And round the table you should be able to recognize some familiar people.
We're still on the...
Oh yes, sorry.
Brigadoon.
Everybody else is moved. I'll move you up. Chink. There you go. You should be able to notice some familiar people. Do you recognise the barman? Well done. He is there. Do you recognise anybody else sat at the table?
Tenariel. Julius.
Yeah. Any of the NPCs?
Hold on, let me get my isn't the
Lawrence.
Yes, Lawrence is there. Can you see Lawrence? Can somebody ping Lawrence? Yeah, we're close. This is actually Lawrence, but that's Lawrence, but he's Lawrence. This is actually the guy in the purple is actually the mayor. Okay, and Lawrence is next to him. The woman is a leader of the merchant guild here in Clarion. The guy next to him is the guy next to her is the blacksmith, and then this guy here is the town the guard, the captain that came in with the guard.
Zebedee.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. So there is room for you all to sit at the table, Julius. You just need to decide which corner you would like to sit.
It's okay. It's okay. I know the barman well. I can get on the table.
Get off the table.
Okay, I'm tired. He's not that.
Okay. Is Roger just curled up round your neck, Warwick?
He's hiding in my beard.
He's hiding in your beard. Okay, cool.
That's a good way to keep warm.
I thought you said beer.
Okay. And does he have any instructions?
No.
No. Cool. Okay then. So the meeting starts off. They would like to inform you that this is a very open meeting, and everybody should say what they want to say in order to try to continually to protect the town of Clarion. There is the barmaid and the barman and the keeper, but there is a solitary barmaid who's coming across, bringing you drinks and keeping you topped up with food, etc.
Her name?
So say again, sorry.
I couldn't remember her name.
Her name's Maggie.
Too many Maggies. Okay.
Yeah, not the one that gave us the
Maggie.
No. So so the mayor is leading the meeting. So gentlemen, we have somewhat of a problem here in Clarion, and this meeting has been called to help us with our noble friends here well, some of them noble, to actually help us to come to some sort of idea how to protect the town from the werewolf or the possible werewolf attack in the future. And the people here are here not because they are all noble birth, but some of them definitely are, but also because they have helped us in the past so much, and we value their help and assistance. Silence falls.
I've got a good solution.
Master Gnome wishes to speak. Please stand up.
Can the real rock gnome please stand up?
Yes. So the werewolf came for Julius. So in order to save the town, I say we get rid of him.
So is it the fact that Julius is the reason that we have this werewolf problem in the first place, Master Paladin?
I believe that when the caravan got attacked and you captured this individual that turned into a werewolf, you brought the problem into your own town without my assistance.
So, please tell me the connection between the werewolf and yourself, Master Paladin.
I've been hunting this beast down for quite a while. Effectively, wherever his trail takes me, I will go and try to stop him from causing any harm to any civilians or others again.
It's Lawrence. Can I just sort of like suggest maybe if you have been tracking him down, then maybe you should continue to track him down?
I completely agree, and that is my best hope that I do.
Or maybe we can use Julius as bait.
That could be an option as well. I completely. That is.
Zebedee comes in and sort of like says, the only problem you have is your lack of silver, it would seem. Master Blacksmith, what is the silver? What is the possibility of equipping this group of adventurers with silver weapons of some description? Well, he says, to be honest with you, even with the silver in the town, there's still not enough. We're still not going to be able to equip them fully with weapons. And even now, there's only going to be a limited amount of arrows we can supply the archer. So, and if they're estimates, how many werewolves are we estimating here?
We saw dozens at their lair.
And how, just out of interest, how many arrows to take down a werewolf? At your expertise, your specialism, are we talking about one? Or
well, there seems to be multiple qualities of werewolf that we've encountered. The simple ones could be taken down in maybe 2 or 3, especially if we've got support from the rest of the group. The larger one, it's hard to say. He definitely seems to be more powerful than the other ones that we encountered.
Can I just say that this whole matter is just so unbelievably scary, and I just really don't want to talk about it anymore, if at all possible.
Unfortunately, madame, if even if we do not talk about it, they will still be there.
I feel like I'm Mavis of Coronation Street or something. Whoever, I've never actually seen it, but I just think the whole situation is absolutely deadly and not really a place for us ladies. She looks across at you, Tenariel, and sort of goes, us ladies to sort of like be involved with this. the mayor butts in and sort of like says, Madam, as the leader of the merchant guild, your place here is defined and you have to be here. So, Captain of the Guard, what do you think? Well, the Captain of the Guard sort of like ponders for a while. He says, definitely more weapons. Definitely more weapons. And then we make an attack. We share some of my able bodyguards who might be more proficient and experienced in the field. And may even be, he looks over to you, Arval, be able to take down certain monsters with one hit. Will definitely accompany the party, and then definitely do. Also, the merchant guild woman goes, ah, oh, oh, and it's like everybody, what? Everybody goes, what's the matter? What's the matter? Rurik, you actually notice that Roger is no longer in your beard. He's no longer there at all. And she's sort of like, there is something going up my skirt. Something quite slithery. The blacksmith goes.
I send Roger to his pocket dimension.
Okay, he disappears. Oh, she says. Oh.
Sorry. We haven't met Roger, have we? None of us have met Roger or seen Roger.
No, you've just seen some kind of lizard now and again poking its head out of Rurik's beard.
Right, okay.
You've ever seen Family Guy where he grows a beard and a bird flies in the bird?
Yeah. Oh, she says, oh, I'm very, overcome.
Oh, come over.
She says, I may need assistance getting home. She sort of like looks around, hopefully at
yes. My back straight awkwardly.
I do this and I point Julius.
Everybody does that wonderful thing as a meeting when they say, and who will be able to take this up? Everybody either looks at the ground or leans back so they're not in the line. The blacksmith says, I suppose I could take you home again. He doesn't look too chuffed with it. He says, I would like to make a recommendation. He says, we obviously need silver, and there is a place that there is quite a lot of silver. The mayor says, I don't think that's an option, Master Blacksmith. Don't think that's an option at all. But, Mayor, there is quite a lot of silver there, and quite a lot of other precious metals, if we care to venture forth. And with this valiant party here in front of us, surely they should be able to rid us of what lurks in the mine.
Precious metals?
Yes, Gnome. Master Gnome. Precious metals. Gold. Not only silver, but also gold.
Ooh.
And the elusive platinum. And not only that, rubies and emeralds and
Before
diamonds.
we get too worked up.
As big as your fist.
Okay, I'm done. Oh,
I hope this is not a dwarf mine.
Perhaps you can explain what threat led you to abandon this mine with such rich rewards.
Is it the blacksmith you want to answer, or the? Or
yes, directed at the blacksmith.
Blacksmith. Well, he says, to be honest with you, things are just legend now, and we haven't been to the mine for decades. It's completely sealed from the outside, and we just don't venture there, mainly because of myths and legends. I often talk to the town captain, to Lawrence, and say, give me a group of men And I go back, and Lawrence says, "Oh no, 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 that we shouldn't do that." He says, basically, it's a mine, but legend says, and legend dictates and tells us that it's full of precious metals, of gold and silver and rubies and diamonds, and it brought a huge amount of prosperity to old-fashioned Clarion. Before we had to change our way of living to farms and merchant and guilds, it brought us a huge amount of wealth. Clarion once used to be double the size of what it is now. We all used to have huge mansions, similar to the manor that you now possess. Everybody had huge houses, and the town was almost like 3 times as big. This would actually explain why the church and the graveyard is so far out of town, if you remember, that it would actually have been a lot bigger. And so it would have actually been in the town rather than now, if you remember, it's quite a... Yeah, well, it's not even... There's quite a walk now to actually get there. But...
That's pretty smart.
It's rather... Legend says that we became too greedy, and we, in true Lord of the Rings style, we disturbed something quite nasty.
What, Druidgar?
Like a rock gnome?
Well,
Drows?
no. Apparently, there was some kind of vapor or gas. At first, nobody noticed it. But then the miners started to go mad. They couldn't sleep. The
You sent kids down there?
The nightmares were horrific. And then they couldn't escape the thoughts. They couldn't escape the demons that haunted their sleep. Many of the miners actually took their own life. Oh my, how awful! Please, no more, Mr. Blacksmith. Please, no more. And that is why.
How long have we been living here? And you've only just telling us now of this mine?
Can I roll a history? Because I'm a dwarf, I know probably stuff.
Yeah, by
those things.
Is it Master Gnome? This is all legend. It's probably just boarded up. But the mayor has never given me the opportunity to go out there. The mayor sort of like says, you've never heard about it, Rorik. You've never heard about it at all. And the mayor says, it worries me, Master Blacksmith. Do you think it's really come to going back to the Wittecombe mine? It seems rather a dangerous choice to actually venture out there. Maybe a small party, a small investigation party. For if we can get our miners out there again, then it would be beneficial to start harvesting the silver. And before long, we should be able to have weapons for many people, not just this handsome, noble, fearless party.
Turning to the mayor, this seems to be the only way to eliminate the current threat. But I want to make sure everyone is aware that we might be trading one problem for another if these legends are true.
You speak wisely, Ranger. However, if we know that the gas no longer exists, then we can mine. If we know that the gas is still there, then we know that the Wittecombe mine is out of the question. Maybe you have a small animal that we can put down there.
Da.
Everybody,
Yeah, Rurik.
everybody looks at the gnome. Everybody just all goes. If the
Apart from me, I look at Rurik.
if the vapor has dissipated, then it should be fine. The mayor says, "I have a plan, and I love it when a plan comes together. I suggest the following process occurs. Lawrence, broaden your mind and start to think about people and training. You need to get together. You need to expand the town guard. We need more people to take on this werewolf threat. Blacksmith, you need to separate out the townsfolk. You need to be able to train blacksmiths. People who have little or some skill with a hammer and forge. Start training them. Do you know of adequate miners? Well, sir, there's some still in the town. I'm sure they would be willing to head out with a party. Good. We'll send them as a almost like a small party, a pilot, out to see whether or not the mine is still viable to harvest the silver, etc. from, along with the party, of course. That will give the fair lady some protection as well on her way there. And then you need to start training more miners. Town guards can actually start to secure the route between here and the mine to ensure rapid transport of the silver and other precious metals. Of course, the silver will come to the blacksmith. Any other precious metals can, of course, be kept.
Go in my pocket.
Can be kept at my humble abode until we decide what else can be done with them. Okay.
I'll look after it.
Does anybody...
Captain Zeverdeen, can you commit any of your men to help train the locals to build their contribution?
I think that would be a good idea, Ranger. A good idea. I will definitely start teaching a small party some militia ideas so they are ready for the onslaught. I also suggest that we start creating stakes to guard the various entrances. Even if we tip them with silver, they might provide some limited, if not efficient, guard against the werewolves.
Can I make a suggestion?
Master Dwarf.
You stopped mining from quite a bit time now. Maybe you need to invite dwarves to extract the mineral for you.
Or gnomes.
If we knew of any dwarves or any gnomes, then we would do so. That both Rurik and Bazooka, you suddenly realise that even though you've been in this country for some time now, since you actually, if you remember, you got knocked out in your world and was transported to this world, you haven't actually seen another dwarf or another gnome at all. There's been humans and there's been elves, but that's been it. There's been no recognisable dwarfs or gnomes of any description, any fraction at all. You've seen goblins, but you haven't seen half orcs either. You've seen half elves because of Julius, and you've seen elves, but apart from that, you haven't seen any dwarves or gnomes at all.
What about the other town, the wood town?
Thorndyke is the
little gnome playing tags.
The mayor sort of like says, to be honest, I have not seen a gnome in all my time, in all my life. The captain of the guard, Zebedee, sort of like turns around and say, they are really quite strange. A strange race. Both the childlike gnome and the rather gruff dwarf. Very strange. Alval, can you just make a perception roll for me, please? Yeah, the the maid who's been pottering around for the while, she's just changed the glasses round you, and she picks up the plate that was in front of you, and as she picks up the plate, as she pulls it away, she drops something from underneath the plate as if she was holding it underneath, and she drops it, and it's a piece of paper that lands on your lap. What do you wish to do with it?
It's the bill.
Can I casually look at it without drawing attention?
Well, you're right
like
next.
Sleight of hand or stealth?
Yeah, with either that you've got. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it seems to be a brief message, and it says, "Meet me outside after the meeting."
Okay.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Get you outside about the...
The captain of the guard says, What was that, Ranger? That peasant girl gave you?
Maybe you remember?
I think she dropped a napkin when she was clearing the table.
Very strange. Very strange. That girl looks very familiar. Mayor, do you know of her? And the mayor says, Oh, Zebedee, in our town, all the girls look familiar. So the meeting is completed on the understanding that in 1 day's time, the party, as in you guys, will set off to heading for the Wittecombe mine, accompanied by 2 guards and 2 miners. Okay, the miners will be proficient in mining, and the guards will be proficient in defense. And the idea is that they will be able to come with you and be at your disposal. When you actually get to the mine, you can the miners can say about whether or not what's minerals, what's worth mining, etc. They can sort of like evaluate that. The mine has been closed for decades, so the miners you are with, they don't know. You can't sort of like say to them, is this the right way? Is this the correct way? They don't actually know about the mine. Nobody knows about what's in the mine. They only know of the rumours.
Before the meeting breaks up, can I try and get Zeberdine's attention?
Yeah, by all means.
Can you hold for just a moment? I'm going to pull out a pouch, take out the signet ring from the Queen, the same one that has the compass of the sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to set it down on the table in front of him. Captain, I appreciate this token that you attempted to give to us and apologize for our mishandling of it. I was wondering if maybe you could answer some questions since I was able to retrieve it.
I am so pleased that the ring has been found. I will return it to the Queen once I have returned. He puts his hand out and picks it up. I have no idea how this actually got to the place. All I know is that the Queen reported it missing, which was quite unfortunate since it never really leaves her hand. Very strange. Don't worry, Master Ranger. A full investigation will happen about this ring once I return to Thorndyke. Some very serious investigation. Now, your questions.
Was I mistaken in understanding that you had given it to the Raven as a token of your assistance? Offered assistance?
No. I did not give it to the Raven.
How did you know that it was in the Raven's possession then?
Well, we were suspicious that the Queen might be doing something rather, shall we say, illegal.
Can we tell to see if he's like a bit shifty and if he's trying to hide?
You have a deception roll, so you can roll a deception roll.
Okay.
So hang on. All right, Julius is rolling it. Okay then. So I presume Ereval, you'll have deception as well, which would take it to the advantage. So 15. It's very hard to tell. He's almost seems as if he's telling a story.
Can I use insight for that? I'm training it.
Yeah, you would have to use it as a group, and plus the other thing is you're right the way down the other end of the table, and I think the discussion was set up between Ereval and Zebedee. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Do you have any more questions, Master Ranger?
No, I just wanted to clear that up
Yes,
and make sure that I was returned to you.
I hope that has cleared everything up and we are at an understanding.
Indeed.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. We wouldn't want there to be any difference going on in the kingdom. He gets up and sort of like heads off to his room. The blacksmith sort of like the guild mistress sort of like waits at the door with her hand out like this, and the blacksmith goes to order another jug of ale, and she sort of goes, "Oh, blacksmith, I'm ready to leave now." And the blacksmith sort of like looks at his ale, looks at her, looks at you guys. And he's almost like got this pleading sense, and then he just says, "Okay, fair lady, I am coming now." And they leave. Lawrence heads off with the mare, muttering, and you hear him saying, I do really think that I should become your personal guard if there's any chance of attack, and maybe take a position in the most inner sanctum of the town, and so I can give orders in safety. From a vantage point where nobody else can, nothing can harm me. I'm safe to give commands. And they go off, and you guys are left in the room by
the mayor.
I look at Tenariel, Ereval, and just go, I don't believe that Captain Zebedee was telling a truthful yarn when he said that. I believe he was probably briefed of what to say if anyone questioned him.
I think you're probably right, but that's a problem for another day.
Indeed.
Speaking of which, I think we need to prepare before we leave. I spent 30 years on my own in the woods. Worst thing I ever encountered was a pack of wolves. A couple of weeks with the group, and we faced necromancers and portals to other dimensions and werewolves and now some type of poisonous fog. I think I might follow after the blacksmith to see if I can be better equipped for our next adventure.
Cool. Well, you've got the whole of the next day. Are you meeting with the maid outside?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was sort of like suggested that should be done tonight. And
yes. Well, that's the slipping out was just excuse.
Oh, I got you. So as you go out, Ereval, you see the maid outside, and she sort of like calls you over. So the rest of you, you'll be party to this, but whether or not you actually don't share it until Ereval actually tells you what's gone on. So she sort of like signals across to you and says, I hope you got the message from the Queen.
You mean her signet ring?
Yes, it was the only way we could contact you and tell you about the... She's constantly looking around, and you don't think you've seen her here before at all. It's as if she's recently arrived, and you've never seen her around Clarion all the time you've been here. It's so so important. We are worried about the Queen, and she sent you the message via the signet ring to ask for help. We're so...
Help with what? What is the nature of her difficulties?
Are you not aware?
No, the message was a signet ring. I'm not sure what it means.
All right. Well, the king is not himself. He's not himself at all. He's being haunted by dark dreams, very dark dreams, dreams that make him wake up in the middle of the night, soaked with sweat, frantically writhing in the bed. It all started when the mage arrived. The mage who sought audience. It was after that the king's dream started.
Thord tongue.
You think he's being controlled in some way by this mage?
It is strange, for the king and the queen met the mage together, and yet the queen has no knowledge of the mage's face. It's as if within her memory there is thus a void of darkness. From entering the room with the mage to the mage leaving with its hood over its face once more. She is worried about the king. He's making decisions that are not truly in the nature of the king. She hoped when she heard the news that there was strangers in the country, she hoped that you would be able to attempt to rectify the problem. We are not sure how far this corruption goes. The king is not himself. The queen hangs on and tries desperately to control his decisions. We worry too that the captain of the guard is under the same spell as the king.
This is troubling indeed, but I'm not sure why you brought this message to me, or what you think myself or my companions can do to help with it.
The queen heard that you were engaging with great evil and that you may defeat it, and she was hoping that if you could defeat one great evil, you may be able to stop this second evil in Thorndyke. She looks around and then she says, I need to depart. I'll try to be in touch. And she heads off into the darkness.
All right. I'll have to ponder that for a while. Is it possible to go to the blacksmith as well? I did want to try and upgrade to studded leather and possibly pick up a simple longsword.
Yeah, so you've all got your money. So you've got your money. So the it is normal trading prices. Clarion normally charges about 20% extra, but due to your wonderful ability to deal with danger and the fact that you are going on, they will actually waiver that 20% and will actually trade with you at normal cost. So you can buy anything that you wish at normal cost, and you've got your money in your character sheet, so you can trade away and get what you wish at sensible prices. You can't get anything like anything that wouldn't be commonly available or needs significant time to be made. So for example, something like a scale mail shirt is not a problem. Something like a full set of plate mail probably is, and a full set of plate mail for either you, Rurik, or Bazooka is even more of an issue, because of course
1 year of work.
Yeah, it can't actually be made to, and you've only got a day. But anything else that you would like to buy, whether or not it be lanterns, flaming torches, ropes. I know, Rurik, you have rope and grappling hook. So a cage for the lizard. You know, if you want to get any more weapons, then that is completely up to you. So I'll let my voice have a rest for a while, and you guys can decide.
What do we have any extra cash that's come in since I joined the group? Because I've got my starting cash. That's it.
There hasn't been much reward in recent quests.
I haven't picked anything up at all.
Oh, you poor adventurers. So,
yeah.
So
I've got 15 gold. Hey. So I'll be going out with a big issue.
Okay, so so after that you have 17 gold. No, sorry. The mayor is quite happy to allocate you some funds due to the good work that you've done with Betic Manor and doing the fungal plague. Well. So oh yes, and the well, yeah. So he is prepared. Now, Clarion's not a rich town. It's going to be a lot richer if it actually gets the Wittecombe mine back open. Then it'll certainly start pulling in the money. So, okay, the mayor is quite happy to say that he will allow you to buy what you need for the next adventure. Just buy it without a cost, and then what he'll do is that once the money from the mine being reopened, or when you decide to leave Clarion, then he'll sort out the tab, so to speak. You know. Okay. So if you just type in the chat in Roll20 what you would like to buy, and then I know roughly what you've got. Now, while they're doing that chat, I would like to remind you that every week we have a wonderful. Thank you very much, Whiskey River, for your bits, for sharing your bits with me. I really do appreciate that. What I would like to say.
Thank you for sharing your biddies, Whiskey.
What I would like to say is that every week we have. I thought you might want a pearl costing 100 gold pieces, Rurik. Which is for your identify. That's your identify spell, isn't it? What people in the chat, you have power in your hands every week. We don't play like other streams that we say you can give the parties things like advantages or anything like that, but what you do get the option of doing is voting every week who you think is which character is the best role player, or the best fighter, or the best general overall good guy. So it's down to the character, or just purely the character that you like the best. And what you do is that you vote for these people, and at the end of the game, and I always forget, but Rurik always contacts me in Discord and says, who got it? But that person at the end, the winner, actually gets 1 point of inspiration, because I always forget to hand it out. So that's it. So I'm going to start the poll now. I'm just making sure that everybody's on it. Yeah. And it should come up there. So if you think, you don't need to vote now, you can vote later on. If you think Julius is the best role player, or the best character, or best fighter with his husky voice, then you would go for 1. Bazooka's 2. Tenariel the cleric is 3. Aravol's the ranger is 4. And Rurik the sorcerer is 5. So you just type in !vote and then the number. And please remember, it's the number in front of the character's name. Sometimes it's confusing. The people later on, it looks like it's the one at the end, but it's always the one in the front. Okay, so now is the time that the players start to put on their best role playing and tend to start pandering to the crowd. But it's up to you guys. Normally, Big Beastie tries to quietly vote for himself several times. The players do get a vote. I'm quite happy for the players to get the vote. And if there's a draw, then I have the final vote, and then I vote for that one, and that person gets the inspiration. Party members can vote for themselves, or if they wish, they can vote for anybody else.
And Whiskey would like everyone to know that his vote is up for auction.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. for any reason.
So assuming that everybody else stayed at the inn, I will return after an hour.
Yeah. So Cryptex, you want some studded leather to stop and a longsword. That's absolutely fine. Rulvik, you can have. There's only one.
That's not what it's for.
There is only one. There's only one pearl that costs, which is of that grade in the town. So the jeweler says to you, please use this wisely. And if you don't use it, then please give it back. 2% of all exports, swords of anything that comes from the mine. Okay, that is up for negotiations. I'm surprised you only went for 2 swords. Bazooka, what kind of sword would you like?
I was thinking something like because I still want to fight with 2 hands.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe.
Well, I think, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think your feat, normally dual wield, only allows you to use light weapons, but I think your dual wielding actually allows you to use not light weapons. I'm not sure if I read that.
Yes,
can I give my Can I give my light mace to Bazooka?
Yeah, well,
because I won't use it anymore.
So right, so let's give you some options, Bazooka. So you can have a mace if you wish. You can have anything like you can have a long sword. You can have a rapier. You can have what about? And I know it's very similar. It's still a light weapon, but what about a scimitar, which is actually like a curved sword?
Yeah.
You know, which is something quite similar to your sickles. But while your sickles only do, as pointed out, only do 1d4, a scimitar would actually do 1d6. So it would actually take you up a grade. And you can actually dual wield those. And they would still have the curvedness that you like. You like a bit.
Yeah. I might take that. Or I'll take them.
But can I say something?
What about a rapier and dagger?
Like against skeleton or other stuff, they sometimes get damage reduction versus slashing. So having something that's different from slashing is something to.
So you might want
wait.
It's not. I'm going on my character. I'm not. I'm.
Yeah.
So Sprocketeer's answer is to have something like a rapier and a dagger to sort of like have 2 separate weapons. And you can do that if you wish, or whether or not you would prefer to have. You could have 2 short swords, which would be exactly the same as well.
Good damage off a rapier, and it's a finesse weapon.
But that's not.
But you use string.
Not Bazooka. I think he's just coming into his own. So I think the curvedness of the scimitars, that'd be pretty much perfect for him.
Okay, so I wouldn't buy 1. I would buy 2.
Yeah, get 2.
And I would sort of like make the decision now to leave your sickles somewhere and just work on your scimitars, because you'll be proficient in them. So that's it. So I'll update your character sheet for you, unless you've already.
Mucho gracias, as they say in The Philippines.
So we will
Say that in the Philippines.
Attack 1d6 it'll be. Plus your strength. And these will be scimitar. Oh, I can't spell. Scimitar. Let's make sure that that is right. Yeah. So can you see it now on your character sheet?
Oh wait, yep. Sorry, yep.
Yeah. So can you see it's just exactly the same as your sickle, but can you see the
1d6.
damage is 1d6 instead?
Yes, sir.
And then that's the only difference. Okay. What was there anything else? I would like to get any adamant found it. Okay, we can work on that. Anything that is distasteful, allergic. Okay. Studded leather. Is there a better long? There is. Your long swords are pretty standard, but your long sword is quite well made in any case, Julius, because it's your long sword.
Okay.
Can I get a bottle of cheap wine?
Yeah, they're quite happy to give you a bottle of cheap, very cheap wine. That's not
It's empty.
because I need to drink the pill with wine.
Yeah, no, that
Identify magic.
that's not a problem at all. They will definitely provide you with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because now, sorry, I need to make sure because there's now always 6 people in the group. Because there's the lizard as well. Changes the challenge rating as well, which is nice. Not by much, but it does. Roger.
When you swallow the pearl and try and sip the wine, you realise that your gecko is as nearly as much a drunkard as you are, and has already drunk all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to do the versatile quality in the character sheet, but have to figure that out as we go.
Add the weapon twice, but on the second one, just
okay.
add 2H to its title.
Yep.
And then manually change the damage.
Yeah. Cool.
Can I get some chainmail?
Yeah, it'd be a chainmail shirt rather than full chainmail.
Not worth the hassle then. It's not going to change anything.
Okay.
That's all right.
Can I get a wizard robe?
Yeah, the only issue with a wizard robe from here is the length of it. So you probably the tailor, the seamstress, is quite happy to sort of like tuck it up a bit and tuck your sleeves up for you a bit, you know, to make it fit, because they don't make sort of like dwarven size things, even for kids. So the only issue is the actual, it sort of like comes into a natural waist, which is actually, you know, just above your knees, you know, but it looks fine, you know. It just looks a bit strange, but that's it. Oh yes, 2-handed roll. Oh, 3 damage.
I will grab a shield.
Okay, cool.
And I'd like the holy symbol mounted in the shield.
That's probably going to take longer than a day, because you've only got a day.
That's all right. I'll just take the shield as it is.
Yeah, but you could probably keep it on your amulet, which would be fine.
Yeah.
So are we back to having a room at the inn? Because when we first returned to the chaos of the mushroom.
Well, the good thing is, if you remember, 2 of the guards are now dead, and some of the guards actually died in the ghoul attack. So unbelievably, there is some free room at the inn at the present moment in time, which is good. You know, so there's plenty of room for you there. So if you wish to leave anything at the place.
Where have we been staying?
Well, some of you actually slept downstairs in the inn, and some of you, if you remember, Tenariel stayed downstairs, and some of you doubled up in your bunks. Julius and Bazooka, you were already doubled up, And then in between that, you probably stayed at the manor house, which of course is yours.
So once we're done shopping, I'd like to try and discreetly gather everybody up into one of our rooms.
Yeah, cool.
Are we good with that? Moving on now?
Yeah, so you are discreetly gathered.
Okay, I'm going to hand Julius the note that the barmaid gave me and explain that she slipped this to me during the meeting. I spoke with her, and you are right that the guard may be hiding something with a ring. And then I will pass on everything that she told us.
Cool.
That she told me.
If the guard is under the effect of a spell, I can detect it and identify it if you want.
If you identify, can you dispel it?
I will know what it is, but I'm not sure I will be able to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's something that's strong, I won't be able. But at least we know what it is.
Are you familiar with spells that would have such a permanent effect on someone's psyche? Because he's been in the village for weeks now at this point. I'm assuming at least a week or two.
Yes.
In the dwarf community, and I think the gnomes too. There's a place called the Underdark, and there's monsters there that are really strong mentally and can produce those kind of things.
I've heard stories of the Underdark when I was a child. There are beings that do not belong in the light of day.
Yeah, but have you ever heard of beholders and those kind of things?
No, nothing comes to mind.
And it's not really fun to say, but there's guards down there. They're evil black dwarf.
Evil black dwarfs.
It sounds like something that we need to investigate, but we have to sort out our immediate problems first.
Evil black dwarves, you're right. We need to sort them out.
Punch him in the face.
The name Druger, again, I was a very young child. It's been a long time since I've seen many of my kind. But I believe they were referred to as Druger.
Yeah.
But I know very little about them.
But enough talking about those things. We need to make a plan.
Well, we don't want to tip our hand. If the guard is under some spell, we don't need to make things worse in the town. Once we've dealt with everything here, then we can try and approach whatever's going on on a larger scale within the kingdom.
Yeah. But the issue here too is to identify the spell, I need to make a ritual, and it needs to take 10 minutes that I touch the guard. So if he's not willing to do so, there'll be an issue there.
Well, let's not expose ourselves. If you're able to detect it discreetly, go ahead with that. But otherwise, we want to put that situation on hold unless we're forced to.
Yeah, I can do that. Where's the guard in the town now?
They're staying in the inn too, right? They're the reasons why there's so few rooms.
Yeah.
How big are the rooms?
They're average size. You know, if you remember, some of them have 2 beds in. If you remember the assassin attack, so there was like 2 beds, a gap down the middle of 2 beds, then a small area at the back when there was some kind of table and a stool, and that was about it. Can you remember the one that somebody jumped out the window after
I don't know.
after the assassin? Who jumped out the window after the assassin?
That'd be me.
And then I followed him.
And then you jumped out the window.
Are they bigger than 30 feet? 30 feet?
And they're probably bigger. They're probably, well, how big's my room? I work in meters, so I always think my room's about 6 meters long. So if I times 600. I'll tell you in a second. The wonders of Google.
3 beds wide and a bed and a half long.
Yeah, they're about 600 centimeters, which is 6 meters, is about 20 foot.
So my spell could reach all the room.
Just put your spell in the chat so I can see it.
You have to be able to see the target, don't you?
That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're not identifying magic. You're just detecting magic.
Yeah.
So for the duration, you sense the pressure of magic within 30 feet of you. You can use your action to see a faint...
So if I walk just in the corridor, I can sense if there's magic in the rooms.
I think the common wooden doors probably wouldn't
be
violated by those restrictions.
Yeah. It's blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, 3 feet of a common of wood.
Are the wall this thick of wood?
Welcome back.
What I'm just thinking is that it says that you can sense magic in the general direction. So I'm assuming what you want to do is wander down the corridors with this in operation, and sort of like see whether or not there's any magic happening in the guard's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says it creates auras around them, so it might be a human shape light that he's able to detect.
Yeah, but
and I can detect the school of magic, like enchantment, evocation.
But you won't be able to see through the wall. You'll be able
to sense through the wall.
You can sense the presence of magic within 30 foot. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object. Well, it won't be visible because there's a wall in the way.
Okay.
Can you prepare it, kind of like do it and then walk around with the spell in your hand when you see him, just go...
You could do that.
It's just casting and then lasts for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you just for concentrating for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it might be better to wait till you know he's in the common area, cast it discreetly upstairs or around a corner, and then walk around.
Yeah.
All Zebedee will see is like little fingers round the corner.
Yeah, you might not even see that. Yeah. Okay, so is that the plan to do on the day of travel? Because you spent this day getting all your belongings together. I notice that has people taken into account things like what you might need to go into a mine? So, like things like lanterns, torches.
Like wrapping them?
Yeah. Are you taking anything like that just in case you need them? Or
Making a list.
Yeah. It's like most of us can see in like dull light anyway, apart from, was it Big Beastie?
you all have dark vision.
Yeah.
You have dark vision, but the guys with you are human.
Sure, they'll bring their own, wouldn't they?
I was going to say they'll have a wagon with
Well, if that's what you want them to
supplies and stuff.
right, so that's absolutely fine. So they will bring with them their wagon.
They'll know what they need.
Okay, then. So that's absolutely fine.
My explorer's pack does have torches in it.
Cool.
Or you needed them, but I guess it technically came with it.
Just whoever has that light spell, just cast it on one of them. There you go. Just walk in front of us.
Yeah, I'm a rock gnome. I live underground.
Okay, so they're quite happy to bring their own wagon with their horse as well. So that'll be absolutely fine. No worries at all.
Until they bring it inside the inn.
No, yeah, I'm just prepping everything up, ready to move it off somewhere.
No worries.
Oh wait, it's okay for the horse to come in with a cart
Yeah.
on the table, but when I get up,
So that's
Racist.
absolutely fine. So
Discrimination, big.
So is there anything else that you guys would like to take with you?
Can I take a link kit?
Yeah, by all means.
Also, did the master strategist spot more arrows?
I was just going to say that I assumed I restocked on arrows. Usually I make them my own, but we haven't fully established how long it takes for me to make them.
I think at this stage it's probably easier just to restock, since you've got the opportunity to restock free of charge, which would be fine.
Okay. It was just we had been several days back since we went through the woods.
Yeah, so
I figured through that time.
Right, so they will...
Just bring a few twigs and a chicken with you. No, done.
Okay, so the guards and the miners will actually progress with the miners in the wagon, and the two guards are at the front of the wagon guiding the horse. So they'll bring what they need. So they'll bring things like their own food and rations, etc., and what they need. So they'll have their own pickaxes and buckets and axes to chop off braces, to chop wood for braces, etc. On the morning of departure then, Tenariel, did you say that you were putting, is there anything else that you wanted to buy before we set off?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So so on the morning that you leave, Rurik, you can cast your spell if you wish.
Cast my spell.
Yeah, so I presume this from your spell bank for that day?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay then, cool. Okay, you actually just roll a perception roll. Okay, it's really interesting because as you're sort of like moving around the inn and finishing off breakfast and moving out, ready to venture off onto your travels to Wittecombe Mine, you notice that the captain of the guard does have some magic on him, and it's very strange where it is. You actually see it glowing, and he actually seems to have some kind of spell over his face.
Can I know the school of magic?
No. It tells you that you will see a faint aura and it bears magic, and you learn you do not recognize the school of magic at all. You've never encountered it before at all. It's nothing that you're familiar with.
Point him. He's a witch. He's a witch.
And it's quite interesting, actually, because it's sort of like it's quite an ingenious spell, because even as he turns his head, the magic almost like re-alters itself. So it's constantly sort of like covering his face. So
it's
you
like
actually...
It's like it's changing what you see.
It's more that it's a bit like, you know, like one of those plastic masks that, like, you know, like those white masks that people put over their face. It's almost like that.
Jason?
Yeah, so it's almost like over it. That's almost like giving a different facial, a bit like as if he's in disguise, but he's in disguise via magic. You also do notice on his body that he has a magical dagger that he's actually having on his right hand side behind his midpoint. So I'll just bring him up so you can see where I mean. I'll just pop him on. So this is him. So normally the dagger would be sort of like here. Can you see that? But it's actually sheathed there. And it's actually sheathed on an angle. So he can reach behind, hold the hilt, and draw it out. And of course, because you can, it's a bit like if you're drawing a weapon from your back, you're almost like limited to the length of your arm, because past that point you can't pull it out. So he would actually pull his arm out to the side, and the dagger would be drawn by then and out of its scabbard. You know, so.
But is it concealed or?
Well, you've
under his cloak.
Yeah, you've never seen it, but it's definitely magical, and you think it's. I'll give you it. It's pretty magical. You know, it's glowing more than his face, so you think it's definitely a very powerful magical dagger. You know, it could, in a sense of pluses, it could be like, if you want to think of it like that, it could be a +4, it could be a +5 magical dagger. It could be something that doesn't actually. It might not actually be a plus. It might be.
It might be a magic with a name.
Yes, it could be an intelligent sword, a dagger. Sorry, it could be a dagger of true seeking, i.e., if he chucked it, it would almost like be a homing missile, and it would automatically hit the person no matter what. But that's apart from that, he's got no other. Magic radiating from him at all.
I move, but first I speak. I say, before we go, I need to go pee, and I bump into a revel, and I say, sorry, I need to go.
Okay.
And then I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Is it outside or?
It's a pot upstairs. You can go outside in the bushes if you wish.
Have they not got an old Jake in the backyard?
You can
I go upstairs.
Yeah, cool. Are you going with him?
Was that an indication that I should follow him? Because all he said was sorry when he bumped into me.
I don't know. I thought it was something that you had talked about beforehand, so you were sort of like, it was a secret code or something that I wasn't aware of.
Not that I was aware of. It would be suspicious. I almost want to roll like a wisdom check to see if I could figure out what he's trying to do.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm thinking not.
No, you just like you just sort of like you turn to Tenariel and say, "He's just gone to the toilet. Won't be long."
Yeah.
Just staring at your timepiece, guy. Taking a while.
Everybody looks at Bazooka and say, "Do you need to go before we set off?" You know what you're.
Funny you mention that.
You know what you know what you're like. 5 minutes down the dusty track, and you're desperate to go, aren't you?
We're not going to turn the adventure around, so you can go to the toilet.
Yeah.
We're not going to wait so you can go wee in the woods.
Yeah. You know what happened with those stinging nettles last time? There'll be no sympathy.
It's okay, because usually I just use Julie.
Don't shout, "Are we there yet?" every time we reach the corner of the road.
Normally use Julie's journal.
Okay, so Rurik comes back from doing his business, and you get together and you head off along the road. It's almost like a track, and over the years, I mean, it's almost like being encroached with grass and shrubs, etc. But you notice that there's still, anybody with tracking experience or survival experience can see that there's still actually quite a dip in the road, because a lot of heavy carts came along this pathway for a huge amount of time, and it seems to be quite straight, but now and again it veers off round trees, etc. So rather than chopping down the trees, they've actually moved the track around trees. The first 2 nights away from Clarion are completely uneventful, and you probably take up Elven watch, and, you know, so the guards and the miners can get a full night's sleep, and the rest of you can sleep, and the elves will meditate. And it's
I'd probably ask Burrick about it that first evening when we stopped.
Yeah, cool.
What he learned.
Is the captain that's there?
No, the captain's not with you. There's just the people in the cart are with you. So you've got 2 miners. Those are the ones that are carrying a log over their shoulders, and then you've got 2 guardsmen with you, and they're
both called Morris, by the way.
Yeah, they're not Thorndyke guards. They are Clarion guards. Yeah.
Can we go talk somewhere more private?
Yeah. So you can nip off. There's quite a few trees and bushes around. So the rest of you notice that Rurik and Ervol goes nipping off into the into behind a tree. Maybe just.
So we're gonna go for a quick patrol before everybody goes to rest to make sure the area is safe.
Yeah.
I say to Julius, I'm so glad Rurik's actually found someone now.
Yeah, and it's so funny because they go off for patrol, and Ervol just sort of like gracefully glides across the grass line, and Rurik sort of like just like goes stomp next to him, you know, and sort of like that as he goes around. So yeah, Rurik, go for it.
I turn to Bazooka. As like, is my helmet a bit wet?
The captain has some kind of illusion that's changing his appearance. So he's not the captain, he's someone else in disguise, I think.
Or is he's not the captain, or he's got a mask to cloak whatever it is that's affecting him?
I'm not sure. I didn't know exactly what kind of spell it was.
Okay.
Even so, it's something extremely powerful.
All right. Well, he's not going anywhere. He's still invested in helping the village. We just wanted to know before we left, so we had time to plan our next.
And I don't know if you notice, because you're extremely well able with your eyes, but he concealed a magical dagger in his back, and this dagger is way out of our reach.
It's a powerful dagger.
With no doubt, the dagger has a name. So powerful it is.
Where was he hiding it?
In his back. He could reach it with his right arm.
So still on his belt, within reach, but he doesn't want anybody to see it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. We'll have to ponder on that for a while.
Do you find it strange that Julius is sick? Is he not a paladin?
You think he's not a paladin?
Maybe.
Now that you notice, he has a bit of whiskers growing from his chin. Okay, guys, I'm just going to describe the next bit because I'm going to put you onto a map. And then once we do that, I suggest we take our first break because it's coming up to 10 o'clock. So I just need to put you guys on the map. And then when I put you on, I'm assuming that you are nowhere special. Apart from that, you're just somewhere on the map when you actually arrive. So you actually, I'm going to move you across in a second. You actually come round a huge arc in the road, and because obviously being a mine track, they can't do tight corners, so everything with the heavy carts are one huge arc. So imagine that you've come round a huge arc like that, and as you come out of the arc, you see this scene. Now, I'm just going to describe it to you so you can get a true indication about what is actually happening. So the trees are trees, exactly how they look. Okay, the bit in the middle, okay, is an overturned wagon. It looks like it's been there for quite a while. It looks like it's got barrels that have tipped out. It looks like it's probably come from... Can you remember when you went off and rescued some farmers? That it's probably something like cider that might be in it, or some kind of alcohol. There also seems to be a dead horse here. That looks like it's had its side ripped open. You're not too sure why or how, but some of you might have appropriate rolls to ascertain what's going on there. This here is a dog that seems to be dead from where you are. This seems to be a farmer, and he appears to have had his gutted is probably the best word. Not that he is gutted, but he has been gutted. There's also, at the limit of your vision here, another dead body that is almost like seems to be inside of a bit of a bush, as if, the best way to describe it, you know, if there was something under a bush and you were crawling in to look at it and then got stabbed there, it looks like that. So it looks like he was crawling into the bush but then died. And this guy here, the guy right in the middle, can you see him? Mm-hmm. He's sort of like crouched over and he's rummaging through the sort of like the wagon. The wagon's tipped over and he's sort of like crouched, bent over, and is rummaging through it. And you can almost like, you can hear him sort of like going, like that, and he appears to be muttering for himself. Just so you know, the miners, let me just send this to the back so I could put my miners. The miners are in the cart. The guards are at either side of the horse on this side. And just before we go for our break, the last thing that I will mention is that the guards look ahead and says, that looks like Farmer Bert's wagon. And that's the last thing they say at that point. I'm quite happy for you to put yourselves in any marching order that you were in, but nothing above. Can you see that line that I've pinged?
Yep.
Nothing above that. Okay. Oh, if you want me to put the wagon in the middle, I'm quite happy for the wagon to be. Would you prefer the wagon to be in the middle, down the middle line?
Which
would you prefer to be there so you can go on either side of the wagon?
To be honest, I was going to be probably
it looks like we
trailing
can
behind
way.
everybody.
So, what do you want him in the middle or not? I'm quite happy for him to be in the middle.
In fairness, if we seen this from a distance, we'd probably get the cart to move over to the side of the road anyway.
That's absolutely fine. Okay then, so we will leave it there, and we'll have our first break of the evening. It's 22:07, so we'll be back in 10 minutes. So if you're watching the stream, then please make sure that you go off and stretch your legs and grab yourself a drink and do anything that you need to have done. And please remember, if you do need to go to the bathroom, then please do not use Julius's helmet. Okay, and we will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, please don't go away. Catch you later.